buying by online specifications, it doesn't mean shit. So the first thing they say is, wow, this one's got 4,000 watts and it's got blah, blah, blah. It means nothing. I'll give you an example. An HDS system from the smallest 5-inch to the 10-inch draws 250 watts peak, whereas this unit draws 4,000 watts, okay? Because this unit runs a digital broadband, it has a 6,000 foot range, draws 250 watts, but it has a 30,000 watt analog output because it's digital. What it does is it takes a signal and it expands it through a processor. So it has a 30,000 watt output. This unit, when you zoom into your screen, you'll see it flopping, and when you go slower, it'll drop off your screen, and when you hit the gas, it'll come back up, and you'll see it flopping. That's what the digital units do, because it runs on a broadband. It has nothing to do with the transducer, it has to do with the setup of the processor. So when you buy a unit and it says it's got 30,000 watts, you're like, am I going to melt my hands putting it? No. You can barely hear the ticking because it runs 250 watts, not 4,000 watts. The old units are so loud you can hear it from the back of a boat, very front of your boat with the gas motor on. It was ticking so loud. Which brings us to the next topic. Typical trolling applications, 3 years is the max life you can get out of a normal transducer. On a broadband, it'll probably last 3 times that because it's 4 times less power going through the pod. There's a crystal inside that vibrates all the time, and after a while they get worn out. So the charter guys, every 3 or 4 years, $80 buy a new transducer. It's cheap insurance, right? On the older style units. On the new style units, they don't draw any power, so they're not actually sending a lot of pulse through the crystals. Okay? All right, we're going to go through software right now. If there's any questions, yes, sir.
2 questions for some of those, because I know some are
Yeah.
talking about through hull versus shoot through hull.
Okay. When you buy a bass boat, they are 100% factory installed because it increases your surface area. So if you own a fiberglass boat, get it through hull or glass it in. How do you glass it in properly? Roughen up your boat, take away the polyester paint that they painted and sprayed over your inside of your boat. Silicone ring, let it dry, and mix 5-minute epoxy, heat it up, get rid of the bubbles, pour it in, put your transducer in. If you put in hull on a non-aluminum boat, because aluminum boat's metal, you'll double your surface area and you'll triple your receiving area. So use a fiberglass boat, you glass it, you don't put it on the outside. Okay? Very, very important. On a aluminum boat, some of the aluminum boats today are getting really hard to set up. I have headaches because of this, because a lot of the new aluminum boats are really quick and they've got nice hulls that are shaped like a glass boat. They get too much air underneath them, and it gets very hard to read. On a Legend that's overpowered, welded StarCraft hull, we have a hell of a time setting up. It gets to the point where you got to get puckboard and put it 3 inches below the boat so it throws a 10-foot rooster tail so that the pod can read clean water. So I have a very hard time setting up a lot of boats because we have to troubleshoot everybody, right? So on a fast aluminum boat or a max powered aluminum boat, you're gonna have a lot of problems reading because you can't get clean water over the pod. As soon as you get air bubbles, you lose your reading. Doesn't matter what unit you have. I've got a high-speed bass boat, and at about 53 mile an hour, I lose reading no matter what because I got too much air under the hull. And I've got an in-hull, just like Gavin has, and I've got a digital unit with a 30,000 watt output. I still lose bottom at about 54 because I got no air. I got too much air under the hull. So that's another issue we're gonna get into. Okay?
What about transom mount?
Transom mount's what I'm talking about. Like if we set up a Legend Exterminator with a 150 on the back, we've got to drop the transducer this far below the hull. And when he drives, it looks like he doesn't know how to drive because he's going to be throwing a 10-foot little rooster tail from the plastic that we stuck down there. But he'll read at 40 mile an hour because of that, because there's no air shooting through his pod. If you have an IPS line, you're going to have problems because there's 3 separate stakes that the air shoots through that lifts the hull out of the water, and that turbulence and that air following the channels is going to screw up your readings royally, and it's just something you got to deal with. I mean, I have to deal with this all the time. So if you want to look, it really gets hard, but you have to. In situations like that, just call us and I'll try to give you some pointers. It's not going to be you're not going to like what we're going to tell you. It's not going to affect your speed. It's just going to look stupid. And you have to set it up in an area where you drive your boat on the trailer, your bunks don't knock off the extension. There's certain things you got to factor in. It's something you have to do. There's no way around it because these aluminum hulls are light. They're getting air underneath them. They're lifting out of the water, and you can't get your read out.